How many Americans are regular viewers of porn?
Last year, there were well over 800 million rentals of adult videotapes and DVDs in video stores in this country. And I don't think that it's 800 guys renting 1 million tapes each.
Adult entertainment is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so lucrative and profitable that it has enticed some of the nation's best-known corporations into its bed.
You've got people right now, like General Motors, Time Warner, involved in what would appear to be the distribution of pornography.
I don't think there's any appear to be about it. I think that's exactly what they're doing.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Ed Bradley.
I'm Steve Croft.
I'm Bob Simon.
I'm Leslie Stahl. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes.
Selling sex is one of the oldest businesses in the world, and right now, business has never been better. One of the biggest cultural changes in the United States over the past 25 years has been the widespread acceptance of sexually explicit material, pornography. In the space of a generation, a product that was once available only in the back alleys of big cities has gone corporate, delivered now directly into homes and hotel rooms by some of the biggest companies in the U.S. It's estimated that Americans now spend somewhere around $10 billion a year on adult entertainment, which is as much as they spend attending professional sporting events, buying music, or going out to the movies. Consumer demand is so strong that it's seduced some of America's biggest brand names. And when we first aired this report last November, companies like General Motors, Marriott, and Time Warner were making millions selling erotica to America. The best place to see it all spread out in one place is at the industry's annual convention in Las Vegas, where more than 200 adult entertainment companies gather under one roof to network, schmooze, and show off their latest wares.
How many people are here?
First day, well over 20,000, and that's a lot of people.
Presiding over it all is Paul Fishbein, the founder and president of Adult Video News, the industry's trade publication which sponsors the expo.
Who's out there?
Manufacturers of adult products, distributors, suppliers, retail store owners, wholesalers, cable TV buyers, foreign buyers. They're all here to do business. And then you have the fans.
The fans. They came from all over the country, stood in line for hours, and paid $40 to get into what was essentially an X-rated trade show. From appearances, you might find the same crowd at the boat show.
You're here with your husband?
Yeah.
You like adult entertainment?
Of course. Don't you?
The only person who seemed embarrassed about being here was me.
Did you come out here specifically for this?
No. Oh, come on. Don't lie.
Don't lie. I figured we'd come out, have a good time, see the porn convention. Yeah. It's a great time.
How many Americans are regular viewers of porn?
Well, you know, it's hard to tell, but I do know that last year there were well over 800 million rentals of adult videotapes and DVDs in video stores in this country. And I don't think that it's 800 guys renting 1 million tapes each.
Rolling.
Last year, the industry churned out 11,000 titles, most of which we can't even repeat here. Suffice it to say, there was something for every sexual demographic, even material aimed at the 60 Minutes crowd.
Several of these companies have lines of old ladies, women over 60, women over 70, you know.
In the porn business?
Yeah.
In Paul Fishbein's words, all of this is performed and produced by consenting adults for the use of consenting adults in the privacy of their own homes. The industry has its own major studios.
Here you have two of the leading companies in the business, VCA and Vivid. They're known for the biggest budget, top movies in the industry, along with Wicked Pictures.
And it has its own major stars, like Jenna Jameson, a teen beauty queen turned showgirl turned porn actress, who, with the encouragement of her family, reportedly earned more than $1 million last year performing sex for money.
This is kind of an art to me. This is something I'm performing. I'm not doing it for the gratification of another man. I'm doing it because this is my job, and I'm entertaining the masses. So it's just like being Julia Roberts, but just a little bit further, one step further.
The porn world now has all the trappings of a legitimate industry with considerable economic clout. Besides its own convention and trade publication, it holds marketing and legal seminars. It even has its own lobbyist.
It employs in excess of 12,000 people in California,
And in California alone, we pay over $36 million in taxes every year. So it's a very sizable industry.
Bill Lyon is a former lobbyist for the defense industry, and when we spoke with him, he was running the Free Speech Coalition, a trade organization that represents 900 companies in the porn business.
I was rather shocked to find that these are pretty bright business people who are in it to make a profit, and that's what it's about.
What kind of reaction do you get when you go up to legislators all over the country and tell them you're the lobbyist for the adult entertainment business?
Initially, I think there's a degree of shock, but when you explain to them the size and the scope of the business, they realize, as all politicians do, that it's votes and money that we're talking about.
They're reputable companies traded on the New York Stock Exchange who are involved in this business. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Did that surprise you when you got in the business?
No, corporations are in business to make money. This is an extremely large business, and it's a great opportunity for profits for them.
Take Comcast, the nation's largest cable company. Last year, it pulled in $50 million from adult programming. In fact, all of the nation's top cable providers, from Time Warner to Cablevision, distribute sexually explicit material to their subscribers, although you won't read about it in their annual reports. Same with satellite providers like EchoStar and DirecTV, which is owned by Hughes Technology, a subsidiary of General Motors. Dennis McAlpine is a partner in McAlpine Associates, which has tracked the entertainment industry for more than 2 decades.
How much does DirecTV make off of adult product?
They don't break the number out, but I would guess they probably get a couple $100 million, maybe as much as $500 million off of adult entertainment in a broad sense.
How much of the profit, do you think?
Oh, I would think it's probably more than what their overall profit is. The other areas are losing money, that's making money.
Then there are the big hotel chains like Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, Sheraton, and Holiday Inn, which all offer adult films on in-room pay-per-view television systems. And they're purchased by half of their guests, accounting for nearly 70% of in-room profits. One hotel owner said, "We have to have it, our guests demand it." One of the largest owners and programmers of in-room pay-per-view systems is Liberty Media, a publicly traded company run by media mogul John Malone, one of the most powerful people in the communications industry.
Suppose he just decided, well, we're going to take all of this product off of our channels, out of our cable systems.
I think somebody would probably accuse Dr. Malone of having a lobotomy.
He'd be crazy to do it.
Yes. Wouldn't make any sense and be totally out of character.
Why do you say out of character?
Dr. Malone likes to make money.
So what you're saying is that this adult entertainment is a critical part of the entertainment business.
Yes, or the distribution business. Adult is a major factor in determining the profits of a cable system, an in-house hotel system, a satellite system. It's a big profit contributor.
Fred Lane is a lawyer and author of a book called Obscene Profits, The Entrepreneurs of Pornography in the Cyber Age.
You've got people right now, big corporations like General Motors, Time Warner, John Malone, and Liberty Media, involved in what would appear to be the distribution of pornography.
I don't think there's any appear to be about it. I think that's exactly what they're doing.
So how did these corporations get involved in it?
Well, I think that they get involved in it because of the profit margins that are involved. One of the things about pornography that's consistently true across the board is that because there's a social stigma still attached to it, you can charge a premium for these materials. And because you can charge a premium for it, the profit margin is higher. So it makes pure economic sense.
The epicenter of the porn industry is Chatsworth, California, a quiet suburb north of Los Angeles. It is indistinguishable from the other middle-class communities that sprawl across the San Fernando Valley, except for one thing. Tucked among the defense contractors and aerospace firms are dozens and dozens of adult entertainment companies.
Like Vivid Video, the porn industry's equivalent of Paramount or Universal. It makes adult films, distributes them on video and DVD, and then sells them to hotels, cable companies, and over the internet. Bill Asher, Vivid's president, said these films are relatively inexpensive to produce, and Vivid has had double-digit growth every year for the past 5 years. Last year, he says, consumers spent $1 billion on Vivid products.
We know that when we were selling the content to certain satellite companies, they did an analysis, and we were the most profitable channel that they had for the distributor.
You think it's that way with the cable systems?
Yes, I would assume that it's probably the most profitable channel.
More profitable than CNN or HBO or ESPN?
Correct. This industry is big business now. It's mainstream. It's really no different than what Playboy was 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Asher, who graduated from Dartmouth and has an MBA, used to work at Playboy as a financial analyst.
It's an issue of distribution. When customers can get to adult content, generally they buy it. They enjoy it. The question was, would mainstream companies distribute it? Now, Playboy and Penthouse for 30 years have enjoyed the same distribution as other magazines. Adult movies really didn't have that up until recently. And what happened was, as companies like Vivid came around and made everyone more comfortable with adult product, mainstream companies said, okay, well, we will distribute it. We would like to, join in the financial benefit of distributing it.
Asher says it wasn't a hard sell. All he had to do was to show them the numbers and provide an upscale product on the polite side of the pornographic spectrum.
We strive to have good sets, good plots, attractive people, people who can hopefully speak and act. Everything that you would expect to see in a mainstream movie.
Somebody told me the other day that the average length that someone watches an adult movie in a hotel is about 3.5 minutes.
Well, I think that it's probably much higher, probably more like 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Probably like 7 minutes. So we hear.
Well, you can't do much with plot in 7 minutes.
Well, it depends on the person.
We were hoping that at least one big mainstream corporation would talk to us about its involvement in adult entertainment. How popular is it?
We need to get someone else to talk to, actually. Let me see if I can find someone for you.
Okay, good. But no one did. A few gave us statements saying essentially that their companies provide a whole range of entertainment choices, plus the ability to block them out. And such choices should be left to the customer.
When 60 Minutes comes to your door asking you about adult content, and you're a major corporation, my advice to you would be don't open the door.
Why not?
What possible good could come out of it for them? They are offering content. Their customers are buying the content. Everyone is happy.
This sort of sounds like brown paper bag television.
Well, to a certain extent, it is.
Two things have changed in the porn industry since we first brought you this report. General Motors sold its subsidiary, Hughes Technology, and got out of the porn business altogether. And actress Jenna Jameson says she wants to do the same thing, retire and become a regular mom. When we come back, a look at the impact of pornography on American society and what the Justice Department hopes to do about it. Adult entertainment is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so lucrative and profitable that it's enticed some of the nation's best-known corporations into its bed. Not only has it become a profit center for companies like DirecTV and Cablevision, it's become part of the mainstream culture, readily available, easily accessible, and all but impossible to legislate away. How did it happen? Well, it may have less to do with our mores than our machines. The best example yet of how technology is changing our society. In this case, it began 25 years ago with a brand new household appliance, the video cassette recorder.
The first thing that a lot of people did when they got their VCR was rent or purchase an adult movie. Deep Throat, Devil and Miss Jones, Behind the Green Door, Debbie Does Dallas. That's what they asked for.
Paul Fishbein publishes the Adult Video News, the porn industry's trade magazine. But when the VCR first came out, he was working as a clerk at a video store.
Most people had never seen an adult movie because they had to go out in public to a theater to see it. I mean, sex is a very private thing. So now that you can watch it in the privacy of your own home, nobody has to know. And I think that's what drove the VCR. And I think to a degree, it's what drove a lot of people to get on the internet.
In fact, pornography has helped drive early sales and the development of most new entertainment technologies for the past 25 years, providing software for the latest gadgets and a reason to buy them. And usually the first people who do are affluent young men who like porn. Type the word sex into an internet search engine like Google and you will get 180 million hits. For years, adult sites were the only ones to turn a profit. They pioneered and helped develop numerous technological breakthroughs, from online payment methods to streaming video. Legal expert Fred Lane wrote a book about this unofficial commercial partnership between technology and the adult entertainment industry. He believes it's had a tremendous impact on American values, popular culture, and the government's ability to regulate pornography.
The way I like to put it is that we went from 1,000 adult movie theaters in less than 10 years to 80 million adult movie theaters. And that basically is what happened with the VCR. The computer now, in terms of its penetration into American households, the last figure I saw was somewhere on the order of 70, 80 million households out of the 100 million in this country. So again, we've got enormous potential for people to look at things in the privacy of their home.
Has it become more difficult in the United States to win an obscenity prosecution?
Absolutely. As adult materials have found their way into different communities by different means, whether it's by cable television or it's by hotel chains or what have you, people have grown increasingly comfortable with adult materials. And there seems to me, I think, to be a growing sense that what people do in the privacy of their own homes is their business.
Porn is so accessible now, it's working its way into the subtext of American culture, crossing over into fashion, music, and television. What you're watching is a Christina Aguilera music video, which is a staple on MTV and VH1. This may look like porn, but it's actually a Britney Spears concert that appeared on HBO, dripping with sexual imagery obviously borrowed from the world of adult entertainment. You'll even find porn references on Friends.
Whoa! Is this porn? What did I do? I must have hit something on the remote. Do we pay for this?
Most Americans are fascinated by it, most male Americans, but they still, if they had a pornographer come over and sleep in their house, they'd want to burn the sheets the next morning.
Luke Ford, who spent 7 years writing an internet gossip column about the adult entertainment industry for his own internet website, isn't sure what to make of it.
It's become popular, cool, acceptable in this 18 to 25 age group. My age group, I'm 37, my age group and up, we think porn is something that's shameful.
He guesses that it's an act of teenage rebellion, embracing one of society's last taboos.
How many films do you think have been shot here?
500.
Ford, who is often referred to as the Matt Drudge of adult entertainment, gave us a tour of a backyard porn set in a residential neighborhood of Chatsworth that's been used by porn directors for more than 20 years.
Got a little grass shack, bamboo shack.
Yeah, it's Gilligan's Island.
The Old West?
It's just like Hollywood.
Like the porn industry itself, it becomes less glamorous the closer you get.
Ready, action.
If you take away the accountants and the CEOs, you're left with a small, insular world filled with renegades and outcasts who like to flaunt society's rules.
Generally speaking, they come into this industry because this is the single easiest way that they can earn $1,000 in a day in 2 hours. It's not like we're losing people from going to medical school or business school or becoming lawyers.
I'm hoping to become a star. I love sex. Love sex and money, What more can you ask for?
Fill one of these out. Have a seat on the sofa.
Hang around the World Modeling Talent Agency on Van Nuys Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and one of the first things you notice is that there's no shortage of men or women eager to work in the business.
It's fun. I think it's awesome that, to be like a sex icon. I think girls argue that it's a bad thing or crazy because, everybody thinks you're beautiful, everybody wants to meet you.
You'll also see why Fortune 500 companies making millions off the industry don't like to be publicly associated with it. It's a tough world.
Most girls who enter this industry do one video and quit. The experience is so painful, horrifying, embarrassing, humiliating for them that they never do it again.
The argument that pornography exploits women has long been one of the flashpoints for social debates about the industry.
Enough is enough!
Now, anti-porn groups say hundreds of thousands of men have become addicted to it, leading to antisocial behavior and causing divorce and family breakups.
Just because this material is available and citizens tolerate it doesn't mean that they accept it.
Mary Beth Buchanan is the United States Attorney for the Western District of Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh and the point person in the Justice Department's campaign to rein in pornography. When John Ashcroft was appointed Attorney General, among his first acts were to hang blue drapes in front of a topless statue in the lobby of the Justice Department and to promise a crackdown on smut. And Mary Beth Buchanan's prosecution of a California company called Extreme Associates is the first major obscenity case brought by the federal government in more than a decade.
We have just had a proliferation of this type of material that has been getting increasingly worse and worse. And that's why it's important to enforce the law and to show the producers that there are limits. There are limits to what they can sell and distribute throughout the country.
Buchanan says that 3 films produced and distributed by Extreme Associates by mail and over the internet contain coercive and violent sex, along with other materials that are vile and degrading. Rob Black, the president of Extreme Associates, considers that a compliment.
Do you consider yourself a pornographer?
Well, yeah. We like to say adult entertainment. But yes, I guess if you wanted to break it down, a pornographer, a smut peddler, yeah.
And one of the films listed in the indictment is called Forced Entry.
Yes.
Which includes shots of women being raped and murdered.
Yep. It's not all.
Along with sexual content.
It's not all.
It also includes suffocation, strangulation, beatings, and urination. Rob Black calls Forced Entry a slasher film with sex, loosely based on the Hillside Strangler case. But we couldn't find enough plot to show you anything beyond the opening credits.
They made absolutely no attempt to comply with federal law. In fact, it was probably their intent not to, because what they wanted to do was to make the most disgusting material available on the market, and they succeeded.
What is federal law on pornography? The only explicit, hardcore sexual material that's absolutely illegal by law in the United States is child pornography. Everything else must be judged obscene by a jury. The Supreme Court last defined obscenity as material appealing to a degrading interest in sex, depicting it in a patently offensive way, and lacking any serious artistic, literary, or scientific value. But that was way back in 1973, before the VCR and before the internet were in existence. In California versus Miller, the Burger Court recognized that individual communities had different values and opinions about pornography. So it told localities to make their own judgments based on contemporary community standards.
The following is intended for mature
But
audience.
since 1973, standards have changed, and so has the definition of a community. Today, with the internet, cable, and satellite television, most pornography can be transmitted directly into someone's home without ever disrupting the community or its standards. And that will be Extreme Associates' argument in court.
It's not involving a community. It's involving a private individual who purchased these videos and downloaded the images from the internet into their home. So where does that community standard apply?
You're saying nobody else in Pittsburgh knew this was going on, nobody else in Pittsburgh saw it, so it couldn't offend them.
Well, you can't apply a community to it if only one person is viewing it. They didn't go to a local video store. It was purchased privately by an individual at home, sent to them in the mail. And that is the debate. And so where is the community? Where do you apply it?
How do you apply community standards when you're talking about something that is just downloaded into somebody's home?
I think that is precisely the question that the court has to answer. The original purpose of the Miller test was to give communities the opportunity to regulate what came into their borders, what was displayed on Main Street, what kids were actually seeing as they went around the community. Obviously, if something's downloaded into the privacy of one's own home, it doesn't have that kind of impact on the community. So the question is, does the community still have the right to determine what people look at?
Mary Beth Buchanan, the U.S. Attorney in Pittsburgh, says she doesn't have to convince the entire community, just 12 men and women on a jury.
You say your intention is to go after the most extreme material. Does that mean that anything that's not as extreme as Extreme Associates will not be subject to an investigation?
I believe what I said was that we're focusing our resources on the most egregious offenders. So we're looking at the producers and distributors who are producing the worst material, the largest quantity of material, the largest area of distribution.
Buchanan says it's not the Justice Department's intention to shut down the adult entertainment industry or to eliminate all sexually explicit material, even if it could. The point is to enforce some standards, and it hopes to do so when the Zakari case finally goes to trial this fall.